Why love is the only lesson we keep forgetting. Fellow human beings, have you noticed that life keeps trying to remind us of something very simple, something we knew as children, but somehow as we grow older, we keep forgetting? That lesson is love. Think about it. When a baby is born, the very first need is love. Not money, not knowledge, not power. Just love. It is the food of the soul. And yet, as we go through life, we start acting as if it is an extra, something nice but not necessary. We fight for grades, we fight for promotions, we fight for status, but we forget to fight for love. Isn't that strange? We learn mathematics, we learn history, we learn how to drive, how to use technology. But who sits us down and says, "Today, let's learn how to love"? No school gives us that class, no textbook explains it. And so, even though it is the most important lesson, we keep forgetting it. Look around. The world is full of lonely people, not because there is a shortage of human beings, but because there is a shortage of love being given. People are busy, people are stressed, people are chasing goals. But who has time to look into another person's eyes and say, "You matter"? Who has the courage to forgive, to listen, to hug without a reason? Love is not complicated. It is not something we must climb a mountain to discover. It is right here, right now, in the little things: a smile to a stranger, a kind word to someone hurting, a hand on the shoulder of a friend. These small acts are huge because they remind us of what we so often forget, that we belong to each other. And let me tell you something, love is not weak, love is not soft, love is the greatest power we will ever hold. Empires have fallen, inventions have changed, wealth has vanished, but love is the only thing that leaves a permanent mark on a human heart. People may not remember your title, your bank account, or your car, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember if you loved them. So why do we keep forgetting this lesson? Maybe because it demands something from us. It demands vulnerability, it demands time, it demands that we put our ego aside. But isn't that what makes life meaningful? To risk, to open, to give, to care. My friends, the world doesn't need more experts, more warriors, or more critics. The world needs more lovers, people who are brave enough to say, "I choose love even when it's hard." So today, remember the lesson, carry it with you, share it with everyone you meet, because love is the only lesson worth learning, and the only one worth living. Love as the core of humanity means that it is not just an emotion or a private feeling, but the very foundation on which human life rests. From the beginning of our existence, we are shaped and sustained by love. A child who is cared for grows in strength and confidence, while a child deprived of affection struggles in ways that go far beyond physical needs. Food may keep the body alive, but love keeps the spirit alive. It is the invisible energy that binds families, communities, and entire nations together. Without it, our achievements and progress lose their meaning. When we look at history, we see that love has always been the silent force behind human survival. In times of crisis, when people have nothing left, it is love that makes them share their last piece of bread, open their doors to strangers, and hold each other in the darkness. Every great movement for justice and peace has carried love at its center. Without compassion for human suffering, no change would ever take place. Even science, technology, and art, when separated from love, risk becoming destructive rather than creative. Love is what gives purpose to our discoveries. It ensures that what we build serves humanity rather than harms it. It is also the one thing that unites us beyond all boundaries. We are divided by languages, cultures, religions, and identities, yet every human being understands the language of love. A smile, a gentle touch, or a helping hand needs no translation. Love does not care about status or background. It simply recognizes the other as human, as worthy, as equal. That is why when we experience love, we feel connected to something larger than ourselves. We realize we are part of one human family. But the tragedy is that while love is so natural, we often treat it as optional. We pursue wealth, knowledge, and recognition as if they are the ultimate goals, while love is pushed aside as secondary. We measure success by the things we collect, not by the lives we touch. And yet in our quiet moments we all know that love is what we long for most deeply. A career without love feels empty. A home without love feels cold. A life without love feels meaningless. To understand love as the core of humanity is to recognize that everything we do should flow from it. Our relationships, our work, our ambitions, all should be guided by the question, does this bring more love into the world, or does it take it away? When love is the foundation, kindness naturally follows, respect naturally follows, forgiveness naturally follows. With love at the center, we cannot harm another without harming ourselves. So the lesson is clear: love is not an extra gift we give when we feel like it. It is the very essence of being human. To forget it is to lose our direction. To remember it is to find our way back home, and this is where the real journey of life begins. Forgetting love in daily life is one of the greatest contradictions of our existence. We know in our hearts that love is the core of humanity, the very essence that gives meaning to everything we do. Yet when we step into the busyness of our routines, we act as if love is a luxury we cannot afford. The rush of schedules, the weight of responsibilities, and the endless race for achievement slowly push love into the background. Instead of expressing it, we postpone it, waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right occasion, forgetting that love must be lived in the ordinary moments of every single day. Think about how often people pass each other without noticing. Families sit at the same table, but their eyes are on screens instead of each other. Friends exchange hurried messages but rarely stop to listen deeply. Neighbors live side by side but remain strangers. We promise ourselves that one day we will have more time, that one day we will sit and talk, that one day we will show the affection we feel. But that one day often never comes. In the noise of life, love is forgotten, and what is left is a quiet emptiness. The irony is that people spend so much energy trying to gain things they believe will bring them happiness, wealth, recognition, control, yet they overlook the one thing that actually fills the human heart. Love does not demand money or brilliance, it demands presence. It asks for small acts, listening with patience, forgiving quickly, giving a smile, showing gratitude. These cost nothing, but they are worth everything. And yet, because they seem so simple, we neglect them. We think grand gestures define love, when in reality, it is in the little daily choices that love either thrives or withers. In workplaces, we often forget love in the name of professionalism, hiding our compassion behind cold efficiency. In families, we sometimes forget love because we assume it is understood, never spoken, never shown. In society, we forget love when we judge people by what they have or how they look rather than who they are. Slowly, life becomes mechanical, a list of tasks and goals without warmth. And then we wonder why, despite all our accomplishments, something feels missing, that something is love. When we forget love in daily life, we also forget ourselves. Because love is not only something we give outwardly, it is also the way we nurture our own soul. Without love for ourselves, we become harsh, critical, and restless. We push our hearts aside as if they are less important than our ambitions. But when we deny love, we deny our humanity. And this forgetting is dangerous because the longer we go without practicing love, the more natural it feels to live without it. We grow used to indifference, to disconnection, to hardness. Yet deep inside, a longing remains, a quiet voice reminding us that life is not meant to be lived this way. We cannot ignore it forever. If love is the core of humanity, then forgetting it in daily life is like cutting ourselves off from our own roots. The tree may still stand, but without nourishment, it will never truly flourish. And so the lesson keeps returning to us, again and again, asking to be remembered. And if forgetting love in daily life has left us empty, then the only way to restore ourselves is to remember it, not as an idea, not as a beautiful word to repeat, but as a living action. Love is not meant to stay trapped in thoughts or locked away in feelings. It must be practiced, breathed, lived. The same way a muscle grows when we use it, love grows stronger only when we act upon it. Waiting for the right time or the perfect chance to express it is how we keep losing it. The truth is, the right time is always now, and the right place is always here. To remember love through action is to take it from the realm of intention into the rhythm of daily life. It is choosing to slow down long enough to really listen when someone speaks, instead of rushing through the conversation. It is choosing to forgive quickly rather than carrying the heavy burden of resentment. It is reaching out with a hand, a smile, a word that says, "You are not alone." These things may seem small, almost invisible, yet they carry the weight of everything we claim to value. They are proof that love is real. Too often, we imagine love as something dramatic, something that must be shown in grand gestures. But love reveals its truest power in the quietest ways. A parent tucking in a child with tenderness after a long day, a friend remembering your struggles and asking how you are, a stranger offering help when you least expect it. These are the moments that heal us, that remind us we are connected. They are the moments we carry for a lifetime, and when we act with love, something extraordinary happens, the act multiplies, a simple kindness sparks another, a single word of encouragement inspires a chain of hope. Love has a way of echoing beyond the moment in which it is given, touching lives we may never even see. That is why action matters more than intention, because once love is set in motion, it cannot be contained. It spreads, it transforms, it reminds us of who we are supposed to be. Even in the face of conflict, choosing love through action is the only way to break cycles of bitterness. The world may tell us to fight back harder, to protect ourselves by building walls, but love chooses a different way. It takes courage to be gentle in a harsh world, to open up when it feels safer to close down. But every act of love is an act of defiance against emptiness. Every act of love is a declaration that humanity still matters. And perhaps this is what we have been forgetting most of all, that love was never meant to be a theory, it was always meant to be lived. Not one day, not someday, but every day, in the smallest choices, in the simplest gestures. For when we remember to act with love, we return to our core, and suddenly life regains its meaning. And the question then is not whether love will survive, but whether we will be brave enough to keep living it. My dear friends, my fellow human beings, if there is one message you carry from these words, let it be this. Love is not a chapter in the book of life, it is the book itself. Without it, nothing else makes sense. With it, everything begins to shine. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and thank you for opening your hearts. If these words touched you, if they reminded you of what truly matters, I invite you to stay with us, to subscribe, and to keep this journey alive. Because together, we can keep remembering the only lesson worth living, love.